And hello, 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 hello. Hello out there. All of you who will be paying attention and listening to me and carrying on, and please forgive me. I don't know why every time I get ready to start a damn live, my eye want to get to itching and shit. It's the same eye too. It's all right. No weapon formed. Okay, hello to everyone who's going to come in and pay attention to me and want to sit down and join me and have a few words with me and carrying on, honey. This is Demetrius Big Meach Taylor, darling, and you are dishing a tea, darlings. With Big Meach right here and right now. And welcome to another installment of the Donut Factory Commentaries. And why do we call them that? Well, darling, you know where I am. I'm here making the donuts. Up here in my office this time. Usually when I try to do this, I'm usually here because I'm stationary. I done already done my walking around and all this, that, and the other. So, yeah, plus I'm trying to stay awake. So, be that as it may. But in any event, darling, before we get started with all of this, I want to invite you all to go check out my website. Let me put it down here in the comments. www.dishingtea.com. Wait a minute, hold on, I'm putting it down there. .dishingtea.com. That's it. Go there and check out everything Dishing Tea. If you are looking for Christmas gifts, my darling, last minute Christmas gifts and or Kwanzaa gifts. Wait a minute. That wasn't right. Go to my website because I have my oil line, Sensuality, because everything is all about the tea, darling. And you can order there. Now, I know you may not be aware of the scents or whatever, so we do have sampler packs and carrying on that you could order. And also, you can order my book. Now, I'm out of my first copy, my first book, Awakenings, Epiphanies Along a Spiritual Journey. But my second book, Revelations, Affirmations, and Confirmations, we have some in stock. And right now, if you decide to order oils, they're $5 each for the little, you get a third of an ounce, in the roll-on, the little roll-on bottles everybody get. Those are $5. But for Christmas, up until January 1st, you buy two, get one. So yeah, you get 3 bottles for $10, 6 for $20, that kind of thing. And then my books are $10 each. Okay. So yeah, and they come signed and autographed. So again, go to my website, dishingtea.com for more information. And no, let me say that plus shipping, because you got to pay for your shipping. And all of that. So go there and become involved in all of that. So And then you get to find out about our theater arts initiative, my play, No Time for the Pain. We are in the process of getting some fundraising together so that we can redo it. We're going to do it here in Atlanta and bring it back to Detroit, and then I'm looking to take it to a couple of other places as well. So jump on board, if you will. Okay? So having said all that, let's get down into it because I don't want to be so long. Today, I want to, this may be a part 2 of what I did before when I'm saying that it's very hard for us being males and being men here on this side of creation because of what the expectation is for being a man. Today, I want to talk to you guys about this whole thing, what is called toxic masculinity. And you may be interested in my approach on this, and I'm sure I may have a few folks who may agree with me. If you don't agree with me, that's fine, but let's have a dialogue about it. So we're about to dish this tea, honey, and dunk a few crumpets with it, okay? So let's get started, if you will. Now, y'all know if y'all hear all these little buzzes and carrying on, if I get to take a radio call or whatever, y'all know why. I'm at the donut factory making the donuts. Yeah. So let's go. Let's get started because see, I'm hearing this phrase, toxic masculinity, toxic masculinity. I went on YouTube and I saw a video here and there, and I wanted to hear it from a man's point of view, what men are thinking about it and things. And it kind of, I won't necessarily say it pisses me off, but what it does is it puts me into a space of having to feel as though I got to defend me, okay, or defend my brand of masculinity and carrying on. And then I look at it as a whole, because we as men always have to fight about our masculinity, because it's always up for challenge, it's always up for grabs, it is always up for discussion, it is always up to be defined by somebody else. My take on this whole idea of toxic masculinity is that it's the new catchphrase. It's the new political term now. You know, it's been around for a little piece of a minute, but it took its explosion when we have all these different movements. You got the Me Too movement, you got the Time's Up movement, you know, all the different shit where we have women and the LGBT community now is trying to jump on it as well, where they are wanting to sit down here and to criticize men. They want to chastise men. They want to sit down and get all into categorizing men by saying that their brand of masculinity is toxic for the community, it's toxic to women, it's toxic because you know, that they are very homophobic and they're very aggressive and this, that, and the other. And I'm here to tell you, honey, as a gay man, honey, you're finna hear this from a black gay man. Toxic masculinity is bullshit, okay? Now, I will say this. It's not that masculinity is toxic. What ends up becoming the fine line for me with masculinity is those who are uber masculine. Let me explain the difference. See, that uber masculine man, or the one that feels as though he has to overcompensate to show how much of a man he is. He has to sit down there and be the extra aggressive, the ultra aggressive person. He has to sit there and be super hard, you know. He has to sit down there and show that he don't cry and this, that, and that he hard, you know, that he ain't no fucking punk, you know. And he does all that to impress his friends, to sit down there to feel as though he is not being disrespected and carrying on. And, you know, it's a sense of identity, because we in this country, as I've said in the last video about this topic, masculine energy, honey, is under attack. And because of how it's defined by the societal norms, we have allowed it to become tainted, okay, and adulterated, and all those different things, to where toxic masculinity, honey, really, it makes no fucking sense. Because here's the tea. Wait a minute, I'm trying to see who coming up in this damn thing. Okay. If it's so fucking toxic, then why is it that people still want to put up with men, period? See, one of the things that is happening in this world, and you know, I told y'all this before, that, you know, we're going into this thing of where men, or the softness of men, is taking precedent. Okay, we have a lot of this. Oh my God, you know, the masculine energy and stuff is being on the takedown. Hold on, I gotta type something, so y'all stay with me. So we're on this whole particular kick, and because of it, we are now masculinity is under fire. You know what I'm saying? It is being challenged and all that kind of stuff. Hey, darling, how are you? And so now, those who feel as though they have to protect it are going through this old bullshit of wanting to say that we are under attack, we are under fire, we are up under duress, we are up under, you know, there's the gay agenda that want to do this, there's the agenda to get rid of the black male, there's the agenda, you know, they want to go back to where there's a genocide and all this old craziness and this, that, and the other. And part of me wants to believe them, to a point, because I don't want to say that what they're doing or what they're saying is not valid, because perhaps they believe that, and I don't want to sit down there and say feelings are not real. Good morning, my love.
Good morning, sweetie. Can I let the gate open? Because I think I got a delivery waiting.
Is he waiting? I wish he blew the horn. Child. Okay, y'all, come on with me, because I got to go open up the damn gate. This is new. We got to open and close the damn gates and shit now, and all this old craziness. But like I say, we going through, and we're under attack, we're up under fire and carrying on, and nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to be real about it. And then, like I say, because of how we are looking at our life and the world today and carrying on, honey, we are allowing ourselves to be infiltrated by all this nonsense and foolishness. Okay? And I'm going to call it that because that's what it becomes. Nonsense and foolishness. You understand? Because we are afraid that we're losing ourselves, or we're afraid that, the plight of the man is this. And some of this we have ourselves to blame, because we have not stood up to the plate. We have not done what we needed to do in order to make life better for our women and for our children and all of that. Okay? We have done that. And so now that we're in this position of going through all these particular changes, child, we have to deal with shit being on fire and being up under attack, and then have to take on claims of uber masculine and toxic masculinity and all this old bullshit. It's bullshit. It really and truly is. What are your thoughts, children? I need y'all to talk to me and tell me how you're feeling, because I'm telling y'all, the way I was looking, this ain't the tea. How in the hell was this up here? It ain't doing like it's supposed to, and then we get caught up in a whole bunch of nonsense, okay? And we end up jumping on bandwagons that really don't make sense. It doesn't make sense, children. Okay, this ain't working, so all right, they're gonna have to do something about that. All right. Hey, now, I wish you could have blown the horn. Yeah. Okay. Oh, shit. There we go. All right, I'm back. Trying to make sure this is what it is. Okay, then I'm out here without my hat on, looking crazy. Oh. Whew. Okay, gotta go home and take some Mucinex for that. So now, here we go. Let's get into it. Uber masculinity, my definition of uber masculinity. Like I said, for those who want to overcompensate, for those who want to make it known how much of a man or how much of a man they are, how much of a sissy they ain't. Okay? For those who want to sit down and feel as though because they don't want their manhood threatened, they overcompensate to prove how much they feel they can do. Hold on. Copy. So, they want to show how much of a man they are. They end up having all these goddamn kids everywhere that they can't take care of. Slinging dick everywhere and feeling as though because this is what being a man is, that's what it's supposed to mean. But see, when we go into these uber masculine stances, it becomes a cry for help to me, because it says to me that, somewhere along the line, their emotions are in the way. Well, I won't say in the way. It's just they are emotional men who don't know how to deal with it, because men have never been taught to adequately deal with emotion. See, we've always been taught that, men ain't supposed to cry. You're not supposed to deal with emotions. You're not supposed to, really, really handle that, because now just man up and, man up, man up. And oftentimes as humans, we go through all of these particular things. I heard this on one of the podcasts I was listening to on YouTube, a bunch of Christian men talking. And, the one guy made the point where we are human and things, but, one of the things about dealing with your emotions is that, it's not so much as that you just cry at everything. You weigh out the situation, you weigh it out, and is this something I should really be crying over? And I wanted to, if it had been live, I would have disagreed with him right away, because most of the time, a feeling is a feeling. Feelings are real. This is why I was saying before, I'm not going to discount them by saying that, how they feel is not right or whatever, because feelings are real. How you respond to feelings is what makes it the action, okay? And carrying on. So when we're dealing with this, we end up dealing with the response to where we let our testosterone do every fucking thing. If I've always said, if you're not fucking, you fighting. Okay, if you're not fighting, you eating. If you're not eating, you at work. If you're not at work or whatever, then you sitting up there with the boys and you're fucking around somewhere. But men seem to be basic creatures to be in that particular, that rhythm. Anything that goes outside of that always becomes a challenge. But see, one of the things, like, masculinity and stuff, it's being questioned when men are doing stuff that, is outside of the norm. I don't like sports, but because I don't like sports, that there is something that has my masculinity in question, if you will. Hold on, y'all. Okay, you quality. I got you. She here. She around there. All right. So, that's what we're dealing with, children. Okay. And so now we done got to the point to where it's done become toxic to some people. And see, all toxic really is implying to me is that male privilege shit, men who abuse their male privilege power, and men who think they could take advantage of other people because of their male privilege or because of their strength and because of their aggression. That's what it's starting to mean to me, because how folks are utilizing the, and then in the inferences and states that they're using it in. And so because of that, child, we have this whole culture. Now it's becoming a whole thing now. Oh, that's toxic masculinity. And that's dumb. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. Let me go and see who came up in here. Let me say hi to everybody and greet everybody properly. We got Travis up in here, Joseph, Tracy. Hey, babies. David, you done came up in there. How you doing? Tracy, you say what? It just seems we concentrate on masculine and feminine too much, never getting to the depth of a person. Although I have ran into ones who think making babies equate with masculinity. See, here's the thing, because we are so into what societal norms are supposed to be and gender roles. A man is supposed to do this. A woman is supposed to do this, and this. And anything that goes contrary to that says that, then either you're gay or you're trying to be something that, quote unquote, you're not. And then here's child, what gets me is when I hear that term, it always comes at a place where, folks, you don't know who the hell I am. You don't know me, and then you want to pass judgment on me. And then sit up there and basically you sit up there saying I'm doing something I ain't supposed to be doing. It's because you don't like the fact that I'm doing it, and carrying on. Now, this is not to say, and I want y'all to hear me clearly, this is not to say that there are times where, when you get to know somebody and when people are acting outside of their norm, when they are outside of their comfort zone. You know when your good Judies, your good Judy friends, and your bros and your road dogs and stuff, when they start doing stuff that you know is outside of their character, okay, and then it's like, okay, what are you doing? You know, and then it becomes, okay, let's see where this goes, because see now, maybe this is something new, you know, because we're all about experimentation and carrying on. Let's see what this is. What are you doing? But we also know when folks are doing something out of their character that's going to harm them. Okay? And so those are the kinds of things that we have to speak up about. And oftentimes, masculine energy takes us down that particular way because of peer pressure, because of not wanting to seem soft and this, that, and the other. And that becomes a big thing. Here in black community, let me start with the black community first. Within the black community, you know, it seems as though everything is always about trying to make sure we stay black. And we trying to measure up to what a black man is. And see, this may piss some of y'all off. The whole idea of what a black man is still up for debate. It's up for question. Now, you could tell me about the kings and queens we come from in Africa and our heritage or whatever. But over here, the American African, okay, the American African is a male, is still trying to determine what he is and what he's supposed to be, because his identity has been stripped and has been redefined in so many different ways. Outside of him being the big buck from the slavery days or whatever, what else is it that he is supposed to know about himself? Okay? What else does being a black man in this community supposed to? What's our definition, and what have we allowed to be our definition? You know what I'm saying? Because see, we have subscribed to this whole masculine shit, and so we're the purveyors of a lot of this uber masculinity. Because here's something I'm going to say, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but this is just my personal observation of all of this. This term toxic masculinity appears to be said either by old white men who abuse their power, henceforth the Me Too movement and Time's Up movement, or y'all talking about black men, honey, who you know, it falls up under the angry black man syndrome. Am I wrong? If I am, prove it. You know, tell me or give me some examples of otherwise. Because see, right now, as I said at the beginning of this whole idea or the mantra of toxic masculinity is only the call phrase and the catchphrase now, because of folks who are utilizing it to demonize men and to demonize their actions for taking advantage of women who are taking advantage or who are spouting out quote unquote homophobic language. And let me say this, because I was one who wanted to say the word homophobia and carry it on, and I'm starting to believe that homophobia doesn't exist. Not that particular word, because see, a phobia is something that scares folks. It is something that is toxic. It paralyzes you. It makes you stand still. It encapsulates you in fear. It keeps you at bay because you are so afraid of what may happen. Okay? Straight folks ain't scared of gay people like that. They're not afraid of us like that. What it is that they dislike what we do or what they think we do in our bedrooms. Because as long as we are not throwing it in their face, as they like to say, quote unquote, we ain't around holding hands, showing public displays of affection, we ain't fucking in front of nobody and all that kind of jazz. As long as we're not doing that in their face, we're fine. But the second we sit down and present ourselves in a way that we're normal like everybody else, that we have families and this, that, and the other, it then becomes like they feel as though it becomes distasteful and it is a threat to their existence. But that's not a fear. That there is so the term homophobia, I disagree with. I don't think straight folks are not scared of us in that particular way. They just dislike us. It's a strong dislike. So we want to go with hate, and we want to go with, the whole. I'm gonna stay with hate because I can't think of the other word I'm going to. But if we want to stay there in that whole hate realm, that's fine. But they're not scared of us. They're not paralyzed by us or whatever. And see, because of that, I would stay with hate because oftentimes they forget that we know how to fight and this, that, and the other. So they feel as though we're trying to be something that we're not because of the whole masculine thing. And so when we run up on folk, particularly they love to run up on the feminine girls, the femme queens and things, and forget that they men just like you. And when they knock the shit out your ass, then it becomes, oh, you gonna let that faggot kick your ass. See, now now your masculinity has been challenged because someone who you thought is supposed to be weak. See, that's another thing about the uber shit. It's not toxic masculinity. See, that's the uber shit. To where you're trying to overcompensate for your masculinity and your pride, to where you think that your masculinity automatically says those who are not as masculine as you are weaker than you. See, that there is uber. Now, maybe that definition may borderline over into the toxic realm. Okay? But this is where all of this, see, the lines are kind of blurring and carrying on a little bit. Let me go to the comments and see what's going on. Tracy said, yes, pass your judgment too quickly. Aaron, hey, Aaron, you came up in here. How you doing, baby? Tracy says, many see communication as a feminine trait. There's something disturbing about that. Anything over 3 words is considered too much. I can't fuck with that because you're right. Unless it's business talk and carrying on, and I don't understand that either. Johnny W. Jenkins, hey, what's going on, baby? Thanks for coming up in here. And Tracy, you said, I don't think it's homophobia, but ignorance. Exactly. Because see, one thing about ignorance is a strong word, but it means that you simply just don't know and you are willing to educate yourself. Okay? Stupidity is it's the whole other opposite. Stupidity is, you don't know it, but you don't want to sit down there and educate yourself. You want to stay stuck on stupid and stay right there in that abyss of nothingness because you, in your mindset, want things to be the way you have it in your head. Now, that's just stupid. It's crazy. But ignorance, allows us to do better, to be better, to come out of that. And so the whole idea, toxic masculinity ends up creating a whole world of nothingness, and so we end up into these particular places. No, nobody's here yet, baby. We end up going into these realms and into these places, child, that makes no sense.
Thank you, dear.
All right, baby. So, I just don't get it. I don't understand it. And see, the other thing that bothers me about it is that when the LGBT community jumped on board with toxic masculinity, see, now it's becoming a battle cry and a call to action because you want to lump homophobia into that whole idea. And homophobia and masculinity, honey, straight men or heteroattractional men have always felt they had to defend themselves if everything. Hey, what is up with you?
Hey, how are you, sir?
I'm good. Lord Jesus, what's going on?
I'm looking for my flashlight. John was supposed to put it in here earlier. Oh, man, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that DVD?
And you tell me.
How long has it been out here?
Maybe about it's yesterday. It was working last night, so it's out today. So I'm gonna say since I left at 7 this morning. So
I would fix it as a courtesy, but I'm literally on my way to the airport.
I'm.
And I see a shitload of. Oh, I know what. What did you do?
That sounds like it's gonna be a job. Go do what you gonna do, Chad.
I'll see y'all soon.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, child, that's the cameraman coming up in here, honey. And it's funny, he on his way back out again, child. I'm on my way to the airport. This fucker don't do no work. He just go flying across the goddamn country. I digress. I ain't gonna put his business out there. That's a come on. I hope that did I put him on camera? I hope not. Anyway, but see, we as the LGBT community now we're starting to spill over into that, and here's where we fuck up because we will say that it's toxic masculinity and shit, but then we want to sit up there and say it's trade. Hold on, security. Hey. Yeah, he didn't lock that. Yeah, I told his ass to lock that thing, but okay. Anywho. Yeah, child. So we want to sit down here and say it's toxic masculinity, but it's not toxic when it's sexy. Because see, that kind of stuff we always see as sexy, we see it as trade, we see it, it works in the sexual realm. That's how come trade is trade. See, the what you consider to be toxic masculinity or uber masculinity, it only works. It only works in the bedroom because we have romanticized that. We have fantasized it to where we get into these whole big old places of, oh my God, I just want a man and this and that. He just needs to come. And all of that, we have physically and mentally romanticized all of that to where now, because he's slinging some good dick or whatever, when it's outside of the bedroom, you don't know how to put up with it because see, when it is demonstrated that this is his character and this is who he is, then it becomes a problem. Then he's a motherfucker. Then he's, oh my God, then we get the whole anti-man speech, and then, God help us, we get into that whole, I don't need no man for this and I don't need no man for that, but yet you want to go home boo-hooing and crying every time you're single. And then you go, it's a vicious cycle. It's all secular because we'll start here of wanting to romanticize trade. And I'm talking LGBT community, particularly gay men, because see, here's what we'll do. See, we want to say that we want masculine men and we want them straight active, straight appearing. But yet you don't want them to be, you don't want them to have, you don't want no parts of them being some kind of sissy or nothing. Okay. All right. We're quick to do the no fats, no films and carrying on. But yet when he demonstrates that he's a motherfucker and an ass, okay, then you don't know how to handle it. Okay. Then it becomes, oh my God, I don't need this and I don't need that. And then it becomes the whole neck roll. My friend Haji said, gay men like to act like single women or single mothers. It becomes the whole neck roll of an idea of, I ain't got time for this bullshit. And then you want to kick him to the curb because he ain't shit. And then you want to get on the whole male bashing. Or why is it that men can't do this? And why is it that men can't do that? And how come he ain't never opening up about his emotions and blah, 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 blah. But then you start, oh, I'm lonely and I don't this and I don't that. But you don't want to look at, you don't want butch queens. You don't want femme queens because you said he got to be a masculine man. Oh, I need my man to be a top. He can't have no bitch in him. Because, See, we get into all that bullshit. And when we get into all that, then we perpetuate a lot of what we're calling to be toxic masculinity. And we feed into the uber masculinity of a man, of his ego. See, we do that. And then we want to sit down there and label it this, and then want to punish a man for it. So I'm going to tell you about this toxic masculinity shit. Because, see, I've been wanting to ask this question all the time. Because, we talk about women in the workplace and this, that, and the other. And, when she comes in and she got to do this, she got to do that, and blah, 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 blah. She got to stay on top of her wiles and things. And if you're trying to get ahead, you got to use your feminine wiles and use what you got to get what you want, girl. Because you can't get it using masculine characteristics because a man ain't gonna do that. He not gonna see you. He not gonna take you as his equal. Well, see, and if you go into the job place with that mindset, then you set yourself up for what you say is toxic masculinity when the man sitting up here making advances and carrying on. Because when you're going to work, when has the 6-inch pump become an acceptable work shoe? You go into the office building. Yes, women wear pumps all day long. But I have never, back in the day, I have never known a woman to wear more than 3 inches of a pump on a shoe. Usually they wear these little 2-inch pumps, you know, a kitten heel or a 2-inch pump, you know, because it's a heel. They feel, you know, feminine enough, but yet it's not going to tire you out. Have y'all noticed that business fish now are sitting up there, the skirts that got higher, and so has the heel. So you going up in here, not necessarily with your cleavage out, but you're going up in here with all your legs and shit showing and carrying on. And then you want to sit down there and say that toxic masculinity is the cause of a problem. But aren't you going up in here using your feminine wiles to get ahead? What the fuck is... See, we got double messages and carrying on. And then with our LGBT community, we want to romanticize all of this because now... You know, and I say it too, and I'm guilty of it as well. So I could throw myself up under the bus for this because I know I don't want to work in the office with a bunch of queens. I don't, and Lord help me, I try not to. Hold on. Copy that. So, you know, I say it all the time because what I have noticed and what I have learned is that sissy shit is way worse than women's shit. And the reason being is because you have a bitch that want to sit down here and be as catty as a woman with a man's ego, a fragile ass man's ego. So women have to deal with, you got to deal with women shit because they're emotional and they on their damn periods. But honey, you deal with an emotional man who has a fragile ass ego. Okay, and always got to be seen. So see, we are the purveyors of this toxic shit that's out there. And we have allowed a society, we have allowed a movement, we have allowed negative behavior to become the narrative of something that really should not have taken root. It should not have taken and have not blossomed into what it's blossoming into. Let me go to the comments because I see y'all talking, honey. Y'all talking. Kevin, hey, Kevo, you done came up in here. What's up, baby? Tracy, you say exactly, Meach. It's a problem outside the bedroom. Anytime a man exudes strength. Ah, okay, that's a good word. Let's go there. Let's talk about strength. Because, see, are we saying it's toxic masculinity or no? I'm gonna leave it at toxic. Is it toxic when a man exudes his strength and becomes assertive? Because this is what we claim that we want. Remember, both gay men and women say that they need a strong man. Oh, I'm a strong black woman. Yeah, you need to be a strong man to deal with me. You know, and so now, how strong does he need to be? Because see, as I said in the last time, women have become the men that they're looking for. So hell, does he need to be strong enough and show that he can knock your goddamn head off of your shoulders before you're able to take him seriously? Because everything else, if he's not giving all that, then he's a bitch nigga in your eyes. You know, he's a pussy. He's a this. You know, he ain't strong enough. You know, and this, that, and the other. And then at the same time that you want all this strength, you want him to be soft enough to understand your feelings and understand this and understand that. See, men have never been taught that fine line of how to walk in understanding your strength and yet be emotional at the same time. We have never been taught that. But we've always been taught, now, you know, you just shake it off. You know, get up, shake it off. You fall off the bike, shake that shit off. You ain't hurt, you ain't hurt. Let me process this. Because you don't know, you don't tell me what the fuck my body is. That shit hurt. I fell on the motherfucking brick, nigga. It hurt. And you gonna tell me shake it off, shake it off. Bitch, did I crack my damn rib cage? And I'm supposed to just shake it off. Men don't go to the hospital. Why? You just shake it off. You all right, you all right. Now we got all these goddamn ailments and shit because we don't know how to go to the doctor. Let me go back to the comments. Tracy, you say it perpetuates stereotypes. Exactly. Jeff, you say, well, thanks for coming in, Jeff. The LGBTQ community wants to be accepted, but we judge our own community with the titles and showing out. Ooh. Ooh, let's go right there. Let's go there. Haha. Okay, let's go right there and deal with that. Because I like that. I like that all day. Because we do. We want to sit down here. We want to put such a hard microscope on something. And then I love how what Miss Thing say in Paris is burning. We make all these categories, and then we want to be a stickler for exact interpretation. Miss Dorian, honey, in Paris is burning. Because we want to sit down here and we say this is what we want, but then because we don't have it exactly the way we want it, something that's a problem or something that's wrong. And yet we still want to sit down here and say, oh, excuse me, well, I'm not perfect, but yet we look for perfection. Okay? We look for perfection. And yet want to sit down and say how perfect I am not. Well, I'm not perfect, but yet you want this fucker to come to the table and you want him to be your God saying, honey, he can't have no flaws. He can't have no this, no that. Okay? And the second he starts to show a flaw, then it's like, oh, fuck that. I can't deal with all that. Fuck him. But, bitch, that's what you did, because as soon as you got the dick was fine. This was your husband a minute ago. Okay? But now that he's showing you that he has other interests, you know, and wants to grow as a human being and as a person, you know, he don't have time to put up with your bullshit. Now you want to kick him to the curb, or now you want to box him up or beat him down or whatever. You know, women have gotten real big with that. Have y'all noticed that? Women are real big with wanting to knock a man down and beat a man up in public, and this, that, and the other, and then you want to sit there and claim, you know, toxic masculinity, because when a man fires back, or when he stands up for himself and not take the bullshit, then it becomes a problem. I say this all the time to gay folks. If a straight man tells you he don't want to be fucked with, why do you keep pressing up on him? And this is the one, these to the hard-headed children. I'm not talking about the common sense ones, because most of us, you know, you see somebody you're attracted to, you're not sure if he's gay or not. You know, you let it be known, hey, this is what it is. I find you to be attractive. I don't want to disrespect you. I'm not sure if you're on my side, on my team or not. I just want to throw it your way. You know, and he'll tell you, you know, no, I don't roll like that. You know, hey, no harm, no foul. You know, tell your girl, I say, hey, give her a high five for me. That's how I do it. Now, most of us are in that same realm. You know, we know how to back up off of a nigga and carry on and, you know, be like, oh, did I just say a nigga? I did. Well, okay, I said it. You know, we know how to back up off of a dude and, you know, and be respectful. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's where the Uber shit come in, because you have those who go off the damn rocker because they feel as though they were disrespected and all this old bullshit, and now they got to feel as though they got to prove something because a fag done hit on them and all that old craziness. You know, so because of that, you know, you have to defend yourself for this, that, and the other, but then you have to make, you know, you coming up with all this bullshit to try to protect yourself because he done went in his head. See? And so we have that to contend with. But then you got those of us who push up on straight folks. I mean, literally push up on straight folks. How many of y'all got friends, gay friends, that sit on there and tell you that? Oh, I only fuck with straight men. I only fuck with straight men. Fuck these damn sissies. I only fuck with straight men. Bitch, you don't fuck with no goddamn straight men. You like masculine gay men. Okay? You prefer for them not to be out. So see, you like closeted gay men. Or you like them on the down low. Okay? So they hide and you creeping and all that old bullshit. See, this is where, that's what's toxic. See, if we want to talk about what is toxic, all that shit. Because now everything you do is something creeping and underhandedly and carrying on. And it's not a part of the community. It doesn't benefit the community. It's selfish, and you're the only one who get anything out of it. So because you're the only one, then you get mad because the shit blow up. Honey, what else does it have to do? Because you created it. It's nitroglycerin. You shake up a bottle of nitroglycerin, bitch, that bitch is going to explode. Hello. So this is what we have here when we talk about toxic masculinity as far as I'm concerned. What are your thoughts? Let me see. I got a couple of folks that said something. Kevin, you said, hi, how are you? I'm good, baby. What's going on in your world? I ain't seen you, ain't heard you in a minute. Tracy, you said exactly. Then label him a sweet guy if he's not becoming uncouth. Right. If he is not coming off his square or giving you that angry black man syndrome or that bullshit that everybody is expecting, then all of a sudden, oh, he got a little sugar in his tank. Oh, he a little sweet. You know, and not knowing that I just know how to control my temper. You know, or I know my temper, when I get upset, I know because my mother, you know, I wasn't a complete single parent household. It became a single parent household after I was 8 years old. So 8 and up, it was a single parent household. So I'm so much like my mama, it's ridiculous, okay? But at the same time, I'm a lot like my dad too, that I had to discover. But I know when I get mad, that I get mad, you know, in a feminine energy kind of way, okay? I could get real pissed real quickly and carrying on. So, and I know my mama in me comes out, okay? So rather than to sit and do all that, you know, and if I put myself on chill, but you know what, I'm going to let that go. And because I'm not ready to go to fisticuffs and carrying on, there's always a problem. I'm not one who likes to fight all the time. I could get pissed real quickly. I can always say, but you know, you're going to make me slap you upside your head. I can say that out loud, but I'm not quick to want to go to violence because it's a lot of energy. And once I get to that particular threshold, I'm a big guy, honey. We're going to be fighting for real. And, you know, it's going to be what it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? And so I would rather not do that. I would rather talk it down because, hell, walk away and live another day has always been my philosophy. Especially now in a world where everybody is so gun conscious and gun hungry and want to shoot and this, that, and the other. But you're right, Tracy. If a man is not ready to go to fisticuffs or whatever, or shows to be a sign of weakness, then yeah, he gets labeled to be the soft, sweet dude, you know. Oh, he a little ACDC, he got a little sugar in his tank, he got this, he got that. And that there's the problem. Then you say, well, exactly, he can't have one flaw, see? Right. It's unrealistic expectations completely. And so this is why I say that I don't believe that toxic masculinity really should be a part of our culture, but it is. It is. And see, here's the other thing, because see, what we have allowed for our faith, the religious organizations and carrying on, want to tell you what a man is. They try to make it biblical, but scriptures say a man is supposed to this. Honey, you know, now you got to contend with that. Okay? I remember when my dad he had got upset because my mother used to make more money than him. He used to open up her mail and shit, you know, and that pissed him off because in his mind, the man's supposed to be the breadwinner. I'm supposed to be the one to make the most money and blah, blah, blah. I make the final decisions. I this, I that. And that used to piss him off. When my mother was working in a bank at the time, Daddy was working at the factory. Mama was working corporate America. She was working in the banks. You know, they call it data entry now, but when Mama was doing it, they called it key punch operator. Okay? And so at that particular time, you're talking about the early 70s, child. Shit, Mama was sitting up there. We were a middle class family, upper middle class. You know, we were the family that had the big Christmases and had the, you know, every Easter we got the new suits and carrying on, and you know for the holidays we was always the ones we bought name brand food at the time. You know, shit, we had the golden girdle syrup and the Aunt Jemima pancake mix, and you know we were the name brand children. You know, and this, that, and that's before name brands got all outrageous or whatever. But now, you know, golden girdle or Mrs. Buttersworth, honey. Okay, so you know we were those kind of folk. And then when tragedy hit and my mother got sick, you know, my mother's asthmatic, and when she became disabled, honey, my mother became disabled permanently in 1980. Do the math, sweetie. I was 10 years old then. Okay, and I'm the firstborn of 4. Okay. Daddy, you know, him and Mama going through their thing, and because he was put on child support, my father decided not to be on the books because they took his money. They took his taxes one year and they made him pay some money. He said, I think 1 or 2 child support checks, child. And ever since then, that was back in 82. Ever since then, my daddy was off the radar, honey. He ain't paid a tax since that I know of. Okay? He had been working for himself. He built his own business and shit and would get paid under the table. Am I mad at him for building a business? No. At the same time, he shucked and ducked his responsibilities. And so now, you know, as a man being mad because he had responsibilities, he decided to go off the grid. Okay. So all of that to say that, you know, in understanding what masculinity is. See, so my idea of it became jaded. I didn't like what it represented or whatever. So then I had to learn how to define it for myself. Women then had to step up to the plate. So a lot of gay men, particularly that were raised in women-run houses, your identity of masculinity comes from a feminine standpoint. You know, the female masculinity. And there's nothing wrong with that because we both are masculine and feminine energies. It's just that oftentimes what you want to say is toxic may not be toxic. What it is that a man is trying to find where he is, trying to live up to societal standards, and then gets blamed if he damned if he do, damned if he don't. You know. So that's that. Tracy, you say what now? See, I've seen dudes push up on me who have a self-serving agenda. Many times not taking no for an answer, then become messy. People don't check themselves anymore. They sure as hell don't. Kevin, you say, I'm good, work a lot. That's why I have that. You haven't seen me out and stuff. Well, I don't go out as much either, baby. But okay, that's cute. Okay, make your coin then. Ain't nobody mad. And if they are, they're jealous. Okay, Corbin has come in and so has Anthony. So, all right. Hey, fellas, thanks for coming up in here and doing your thing with me because right now, you know, I just want men, when are we going to jump on this bandwagon of being ourselves? When are we going to give ourselves permission to say, this is who I am and I make no excuses for it? When are we going to allow people in our lives who are going to accept us for who we are and not want to keep recreating us to build us into something that they think we should be? Hold on. Security? Huh? 5:30, uh-huh. Yeah, they're trying to get up to the pool. Yeah. When are we going to allow ourselves to fully accept ourselves, our flaws and all? When are we going to accept our emotional baggage? When are we going to deal with our emotional baggage so that we don't have to overcompensate? You know, I mean, look at it. We are really in a world now to where everything about being a man relies upon our sex. Have you noticed that? Look at everything that talks about our health. If you look at everything that come on when we try to get medical health or whatever, we need our health and, you know, you got to get your blood work done and this, that, and the other. What do they always link it back to? They always link it back to having better sex. Why is it that everything about a man got to revolve around his goddamn dick? Because we're more than that, right? At least that's what we're supposed to be. But everything about life revolves around our dick. So what is it that we got to say about our masculinity? Because hell, we have gotten to a point to where slinging dick is supposed to be the thing, and God help us if you're not. I'm 49 almost, so I'm not the 25-year-old I once was. I'm not the Energizer Bunny like that. You know, not like that. I still can keep going, but hell, we got to do things a little bit differently. Shit don't work the way it was working back then. I'm asthmatic on top of it, child. I used to be able to have sex and my asthma wouldn't bother me. Now, child, hell, I was 30 years old the first time. I'm in the middle of a stroke, child. And I was like, all of a sudden I couldn't breathe. And I didn't want to be embarrassed. So shit, I had to have my damn sprayer. And I don't believe I'm saying this out loud. Yes, I am. I was in the middle of a stroke. So in order to mask the sound of my inhaler, I slapped his ass at the same time and I squished so that it would sound somewhat similar so that I wouldn't have a fucking asthma attack, okay, in the middle of sex. So, you know, as we get older and things, everything changes. So why is it that we have allowed ourselves to be defined by our sexual prowess? Why are we allowing ourselves to be only defined by what we think is hard and rigid? because we're not always hard and rigid, child. There are moments in our lives where we're softer. You know, we're a little bit more easier to get away with. I mean, look at how you treat your kids. Now, you're not always hard and rigid and carried on. Look at how you treat your daughters, men. Look at how you are with your daughters. You want to make sure that your daughter understands she's with a man, but you're soft and you're tender and carrying on. That doesn't make you less of a man because you decide to do that. How many of you have sat down there, because single fathers especially, how many of you have sat down there because you're praying with your little girl and she wants to put makeup on you and carrying on because you're her friend and she wants to spend time with daddy? Does that make you less of a man because you spent time with your daughter that way? Does it make you less of a man because you know how to teach your daughter about her cycle and know how to go buy maxi pads and carrying on? Does that make you less of a man? Huh? So all of these kinds of things, honey, when we look at it, why is it that we get upset about that? I applaud men who know how to do their daughter's hair, especially if you're a single father. And if you don't know how to do it, then you know how to go find resources and be like, listen, I can't do this, but my baby's hair need to get done. You know what I'm saying? You know how to take care of business without what the fuck it look like or whatever, because hell, who gives a goddamn? Because most of the time, those who complain, they're not doing nothing to be a part of the fucking solution. They just got a goddamn complaint. So why is it that we are constantly allowing outside entities to tell us what being a what being a man is all about? Tracy, you say, well, it's all about balance. I totally agree. And I think that there is probably the essence of what this is all about, toxic and uber masculinity. Honey, if you're being a man, just be a man. Just be a man. And you get to determine the kind of man you're going to be. You know, you get to determine that. Why do we sit down here and allow for outside entities to dictate to us who we are and what we're supposed to be? Steve Mack, good morning, Demetrius. Preach. Am I preaching to you? Okay, thank you, baby. Okay. Okay. What's that? Right, bro. Thanks. You know what? Hey, bro, listen. I'm sitting up here. One of the things that I bring these particular subjects up because, see, I really want to get over this divide that we have between gay and straight men. Okay? And our bi men, because see, and let me put the bees up in here, because see, our bi-attractional men don't get no love. Because straight men want to sit down there and say, okay, you going through a phase, or, you know, as long as you don't talk about that gay shit, we good, because you feel as though, well, they still fucking pussy, it's good. Gay folks don't want to be bothered with it because, hell, we don't want to be bothered with it. I'm going to say we. We don't want to be bothered with it because oftentimes a bi-attractional man, honey, is somebody that you want to have. And you feel as though that if you fuck with it, he gonna leave you and go to a woman, and you don't know how to compete with that. Okay, women are just the opposite. If I'm all that you supposed to have, then hell, I don't know if you're gonna leave me and go to a man. I can't compete with another man. So it all boils back down to sex again, right? So when are we going to elevate our own consciousness and come out of that? You know, come out of the whole idea of just being sex. Now, hear me well. I'm not saying don't be sexy, because see, one of the things about masculine energy is very intoxicating. You know, when you got me and you know when you feel sexy. You know motherfucking well when you know when you got it going on. When the world is right, when you looking good, you feeling good, your money in your pocket, all your bills paid, you ain't got a care in the world. Why? Because, nigga, I'm on my shit, right? Hold on, y'all. Copy that. So, you know, when we on top of our shit, baby, can't nobody tell us a motherfucking thing. And don't that feel, it's sexy. And we exude that, you know, it's confidence, you know. And it's intoxicating. So we may, you know, we may get a little flirty and carrying on and this, that, and the other. But it doesn't say that we're going out slinging dick every damn where. It doesn't say that, you know, that we're going out here on the conquest and on the prowl. What it says is I'm a confident man, and hell, I got my shit together, and whatever God I believe in, even if I am my own God, because I believe in myself, we take that to the hill. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I really want to sit down there and get with us about, particularly as black men, because oftentimes we miss the mark on that because we so busy talking about all this other bullshit that don't mean nothing to nobody. It don't mean nothing, Cheryl. Okay? It don't mean nothing. But a bunch of bullshit, and it becomes drama. Okay? We always talk about we ain't into drama, but we create that shit. Oh. Yeah, so the bathrooms. Yeah. So, that there is that, children. So I'm gonna end this right here because if I keep going, I'm gonna end up starting to repeat myself and things, and I feel like I'm rambling. But there's that. The bottom line is, I'm a gay man who's sitting up here gonna tell y'all, honey, toxic masculinity is bullshit. What we have to fight is being uber masculine and stop feeling as though we have to overcompensate because we're trying to fit up to a definition of what masculinity is supposed to be. You are your own man, okay? Whether folks like it or not. And here's the thing, too. That is, we have to accept that on all fronts. If that's going to be the key, if I'm able to stand up and say, this is the kind of man that I am, then we have to accept when somebody else declares that they're the kind of man that they are, we have to accept them and what they say. Now, whether we get along or not is a completely different thing, because if that's who you are, I don't have to fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, I can respect you. See, that's what we forget about all of this. And that there is about understanding the respect level. See, one of the things about being a man is understanding how to respect another man when you see one. See, listen, I tell this to gay folks all the time, and particularly my femme queens, because you always say that you want a man and this and that. I say, honey, one of the things you don't do, you don't disrespect a man if you want him to be a part of your life. You can't go around because you calling everybody girl this and girl that, but you want your husband. You don't call your husband Miss Thing and girl and all of that. Why? That ain't him. That's not who he is. Okay? And if he says that's not who he is, then appreciate that and respect it. Allow that to stand and let it be what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's part of this whole uber masculinity, I got to overcompensate shit. Because, see, there's a lot of straight allies that we have, but we won't allow them to be allies because we always want to tell them, oh, you just waiting to come out. Oh, you just need to come on over to this side because, child, let the straight man be the straight man. How come he can't be a straight man who is a friend to the gay community? Because you're not a threat to him. And I think it's because we have been beat up so much by the threat of a straight man, to where when we find one who is absolutely an ally, now we want to make him a part of the team. Let that man be straight. Let that man be straight, child. Listen, God, I had to tell that to my cousin one time. He was a cousin. We had a little, a thing when we were kids or whatever, right? I'm not going to call it no molestation. I'm going to call it an experimentation. And so when we ran into each other at my grandfather's funeral. So we sitting around as cousins, we sitting there bullshitting and jaw-jacking. And he wanted to sit down there and wanted to recap that story. Hey, baby. And I sat up here and I had to tell him, I said, honey, that's not how that story went, but I'm going to let you have that, right? Well, then he wanted to sit down here and make sure he told me how straight he was. Well, Meach, I'm not gay and I'm not this. I said, thank you. Thank you, honey. Just stay your ass on that side. Don't nobody want your ass over here. Let them bitches deal with all that shit. Thank you. Shit. Listen, for those of you who feel those straight folks trying to recruit all the damn time, they're not trying to recruit just to bring you into the gay arena, honey. They just want to fucking leave it alone, honey. No, stay your ass over there. Stay there. No. Don't nobody want to deal with that bullshit. Don't nobody want to deal with it. Okay? Let me go to the conversations, chat. Tracy, you said this was a good conversation. Well, thank you, baby. You say also, man, to me, is having mutual respect for others and having balance without making others uncomfortable with who they are. There's nothing more to say. Bada boom, bada bing. My existence, everything about my confidence in my existence shall never throw you off your square if you in the same realm of consciousness. If we respect one another, it's just like with your house. I live over here, you live over there. Now, as long as we do what we need to do to keep the street clean or whatever, honey, hey, it is what it is. I can't tell you how to run yours like you can't tell me how to run mine. But what we are going to do is sit down here and make sure we police it to where it don't get funny acting. Don't be playing your music all loud and disrespectful and shit. Okay, here we go back to that respect thing. If you don't get disrespectful, honey, everything can be copacetic. And there you have it. If you are not being disrespectful, everything will be copacetic. And that goes across the board. We won't have this Me Too movement if men knew how to respect a woman's boundaries. We wouldn't have this Me Too movement if women would stop trying to use their feminine wiles to get ahead and then want to blame a man for not advancing on them. Yeah, I said it. I said it. Because that's the other part of this coin that we're not looking at. Y'all want to be quick to blame the men and carry on, but you women, honey, if y'all are not trying to sit down there and throw your titties and shit at everybody's face or in everybody's face, okay, trying to use your womanly, your feminine wild to get that advancement, a lot of this Me Too shit will not be there. Yeah, I said it, and I mean it. Okay? If you respected one another, then a lot of the gay bashing would not exist because you respect the fact that I'm in my own lane. And sometimes I may have to pass over to get around a couple of cars or whatever, but hell, long as I didn't hit your car, honey, we good. I got my blinker on, honey, I'm letting you know I'm switching lanes, I'm coming over here, and this, that, and other, because we going down the highway together. Okay? That's how this thing is supposed to go. If we respected ourselves, gay children, you wouldn't have the trade set up there ready to beat your ass because you sit up there disrespecting him, calling him all out his name, calling him all kind of bitch niggas and carrying on in front of his woman and this, that, and the other, when you ain't got shit to show for it. You know, or want to make sure you got receipts, Miss Mason and this damn Dwight Howard shit, because you willing to lay out the receipts and all that old bullshit. See, that there is highly, highly disrespectful. That could have been done in a better way than that. Didn't have to go public. Didn't have to do that. You see what I'm saying? There's a way to do it. If we learn how to be, if you're not disrespectful, everything could be copacetic. If you are not disrespectful, everything will be copacetic. And we won't have to worry about toxic masculinity. We won't have to worry about uber masculinity. And we won't have to worry about toxic femininity. Now I'm going to talk about that tomorrow or the next time I come on, because there's the thing with this toxic femininity. And I was talking about it earlier on the last time when we were talking about the chemicals and stuff, that's coming in and building up a lot of estrogen in the men and carrying on. And this whole thing of women wanting men to be softer. I ain't going to get into that right now. Let me end this here because I got to get my typing done and things. Let me get back up in here. We are at the donut factory, right? So with all of that, honey, there is that. But share this video with folks and let's get this conversation going. I want to see what crumpets is going to come out of this. How y'all going to dunk y'all crumpets in this one? Because oftentimes, child, I think, we as men need to have more conversations like this. And then let's be honest. And for those of you who disagree, don't be afraid to disagree because you have a point. I want to hear what your point is. And if you're coming out of a bag, honey, I'm going to tell you, bitch, you stretching on that one. That's a stretch. I hear where you are, but that may be a stretch. But let's talk about it. Let's see if we can sit down there and get eye to eye and respect each other. And it doesn't mean we're going to agree necessarily, because we can still respect each other and disagree. But okay, if that's how you feel, baby, that's how you feel. I disagree with that, but okay, I see what your standpoint is, and it's not about trying to change your mind. It's about opening up your mind so you can see it from another angle, and you still gonna disagree with it. But as long as you can see where somebody else is coming from, that's what makes conversations go. That's what makes dialogue important. That's what makes us learn how to respect one another. Because it's like, hey, this is where it is. This is where I draw the line in the sand, because this is how I build my sandcastles. and that there will, that would take us there. So with that, honey, we can finish all your crumpets, darling, because the tea has been dished, darling. And you've been dishing tea right here, honey, with Big Meach. If you love me, tell a friend, honey. If you hate me, tell an enemy. But do know this: one way, shape, style, form, or fashion, everything that I'm doing will move forward. So like I said, go to my website, honey, dishingtea.com, and check it out. If you want to order some oils or one of my books, up until January 1st, everything, my oils are 3 for 10. They're $5 each, 3 for 10, 6 for 20, and my books are $10. They're really 15. They're originally 15. But for Christmas and Kwanzaa, that's our Christmas deal right now. So, our holiday special. So go there, and we'll talk soon, okay? With all of that, honey, dunk your crumpets, baby, because this was cute. I'll talk with you guys soon. Thanks. Peace.